Willie Ng is a former chief criminal investigator for Bexar County DA, has been a detective in the SAPD, has been in the in a variety of law enforcement roles, also has his own company, Blue Armor Security Services, which we've talked about many times on the air, is a adjunct professor at Incarnate Word, and among his many tasks and roles, he is now a Republican candidate for Texas House District 122 in next spring's primary. Willie Ng, welcome back to the KTSA Quarter Moon Plumbing AC Heating Newsmaker line.
Always glad to be back, Jack. Thank you.
And I'm now completely out of breath from describing all the things that you that you've done. First of all, forgive my ignorance because I don't even know. I know that this is the Mark DeRazio seat. Are you primarying him or is he not running?
Yes, sir, I am. I'm primarying him in a primary election.
So what brought that about? What made you decide to run? Because I know he is also a Republican. What made you decide to run against him?
Jack, it's just about getting things done. I really believe that there's so much more that can be done for the people in House District 122, but also all throughout Texas. Because you got to remember, as a legislator, yes, you focus on the things that your constituents need, but it affects statewide policies and initiatives. And there's just so much more we can do for public safety, and there's just so much more we can do for small businesses and our veterans. And there's just a lot of different initiatives that I think that I could bring a lot to the table. And I'm humbled on my resume, but it's all for a reason, right? I think God has created this path for me, and He's brought these opportunities to me, and I care. I've always said leadership is not a position; it's a behavior, and I think I've displayed that. I don't need to be in position to get things done, but I really believe that having a seat at the table and the direction that our state is going and our nation, it's important to have people that know a lot about all these different areas that I have experience and wisdom on to make positive changes.
I want to ask you, I know that you have a very strong background in issues of security and law enforcement, but I want to start with something that's kind of the political hot button word of the moment, and that's affordability. And we hear all the time that the 2026 elections, and this is more about the midterm congressional elections, but it might also be true of your election, that this is going to be a key issue, that people are being priced out of the middle class, whether it's the price of a car, whether it's home ownership. We're seeing all these studies about young people putting off life decisions, marriage, children, home ownership because of debt and rising costs. What do you think you could bring to that?
Well, Jack, I appreciate you asking that question because, historically, you and I have conversations on law enforcement issues, right, and public safety. But what a lot of people don't know is I do wear different hats, right? I do have a small business that I've had for over 20 years. I am a very big advocate for small business, created an incubator, was one of the four that invested into the Maestro Center, which is a small business incubator. And of course, my PhD is in organizational leadership. So what a lot of people don't understand is that I say this not as a soundbite, but small businesses and businesses in general truly are the backbone and the foundation of every city and every state. And what people don't understand is that if we can start giving more incentives to support small businesses and bring businesses here, that can subsidize a lot of our taxes. I mean, I know the governor is talking about, doing away with property tax, and people are like, there's no way. Well, yes, there is a way. There's a way to do it, and the way you do that is you shift that tax burden to businesses. You shift it over to retail, to visitors, to all these different things that people that come to San Antonio to enjoy. And you push that tax burden, and you don't have to do away with public safety. You can still continue to grow public safety. The problem we have with our city is that we rely on our taxes to support our first responders, to support all the things that we need, instead of saying, look, let's think outside the box. What can we do differently to push that burden off the citizens? Because what's going to happen is that, to your point, when you free up that property tax, people are going to either spend more money, which is going to help your economy, or they're going to be able to save more money, which is going to help their 401k and the retirement. It's a domino effect. It's a positive domino effect, but no one thinks outside the box and they go with status quo.
Yeah, I think, I hear a lot of talk about things that would be structural and long term. But when I say affordability, I don't know what other people mean by it, but I think it is something that people are going to have to see in their right here, right now. Like if they don't see, and we're starting to see gas prices come down, but if they don't see affordability in their day-to-day over the next year, I think Republicans will be cooked in the elections next year.
Well, and that's the problem, right? There's a bunch of sound bites, as I mentioned earlier. And historically, that's what people talked about, right? They would use it as a soundbite to get elected, but they do nothing once they get in office.
Right.
They don't pass their own bills. They ride the coattails of others, and just they're co-signing different bills instead of establishing their own bills. And that is what I want to bring to the table. Is I want to sit down with business owners, with people like you that have these great ideas, and how do we implement it? But another thing too, Jack, is I get tired of government overstepping, and we need to put more things on the ballot and let the Texans vote for these things. There's so many different things and so many different ideas that Texans have, but these legislators are controlling it. They're controlling the democracy, actually, and silencing them by not allowing it to get on the ballot. I want to put more things on the ballot. Let the Texans vote. Let their voices be heard on all these different initiatives. And that's what needs to happen. You know, government's not your daddy, right? I mean, and we didn't like it, right, when we were told to get the jab or else. Right? Get the COVID shot or else. And so we don't like that. We shouldn't like it at all when government tries to overstep. Look, as a government entity, as legislators, we're here to protect you and provide safety and provide initiatives and opportunities to live the best life that you can. Yeah. That's our job, not to tell you how to do that, but to just provide those opportunities to you. How public safety, we've talked about this a long time. Where there's no public safety, there's no prosperity. If you look at the public safety, high crime areas, zip codes, there's no economic development. There's no workforce. There's high percentage of school kids dropping out of school. Teen pregnancies through the roof. We got to focus on public safety and get our community safe. And what's going to happen with that? People are going to want to come to Texas. They're going to want to bring the big businesses here, the big corporations here. And then guess what happens? Then again, we get to reallocate those tax responsibilities to those big corporations and give some tax relief to our citizens.
Yeah. Well, I hope we can talk again very soon. There's a lot to talk about, but the website right now for this campaign is williefortexas.com, williefortexas.com. Willie Ng running in the Republican primary for Texas House 122. Willie, great to have you on the show as always. Come back real soon.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. It's the Jack Show live on KTSA, also available as a podcast you can get at ktsa.com or wherever you like to get your other favorite podcasts here on KTSA.